Hey guys, what's going on? Nerf Herder here. I decided to make a video for something I do really enjoy to do, and I had a reason to do it. Weathering. I'm going to do a weathering tutorial here for you. One of the reasons I haven't done it on this channel is because there's plenty of weathering videos out there. I tend to forget. I guess not a lot of people know that or just don't know where to go. I have my TFU2 Force Unleashed saber that I'm probably going to be installing soon because Jeremy at Solo Sabers, a friend of mine, fellow smuggler, I actually hit him up and I was like, hey man, this was yesterday. I was like, hey man, can you design a chassis that will fit a 28mm speaker in the pommel with connector pins for that saber, because it holds a 24mm speaker and I think 24mm speakers are, sorry, I don't think they sound good. And he was like, one step ahead of you, man. I've already designed it. I'll have a video. So he has a video for his chassis system and reveal for that for, was it Renzo's saber? And he has a video for it on his channel. And I was like, time to get up and weather this beast, prep this saber for install. I didn't think I'd be doing it for a long time, but I'm going to go ahead and probably do that for myself here in a bit, kind of something special for me. I'm going to show you real quick, however long this video is. Another reason why I haven't done tutorials is because you think me talking takes a long time. Wait till I actually work on something. I'm going to show you guys how I weather stuff. There is plenty of ways to weather. There are tons of different things for different materials. Today what I'm going to be doing is an aluminum hilt, so I'm going to be using aluminum black. Some stuff like copper, steel, brass, I mean everything ages differently, weathers differently, so make sure you do your research on that. You have things for like Graflex shells, like on scrap flexes, that's not aluminum, that's nickel plated brass, so your weathering is going to be a lot harder to do on certain aspects. That's why like Dylan at Dembic Relics, he uses a blowtorch. He heat weathers, heat stains them, and they look fantastic. It's a really great way to do it. But again, for today, I'm going to show you guys how to weather a basic aluminum piece. This is just what I like to do. I think it's a lot of fun. It's very easy, and it's just a quick little project you can do and play with. I think they make the saber look completely different, makes it more realistic looking to in-universe style lightsaber. Let's go ahead and jump right into that. Okay, so we've got our hilt, which is my Corbanth TFU2 Starkiller hilt. We're going to be weathering the pommel. It's too shiny right now. Way too shiny. We're going to definitely weather this guy first. If you're like me, you don't want your lightsabers to be super shiny, even though this does look really good as a shiny, clean hilt. Starkiller's hilt, in my opinion, shouldn't be this clean. Already done a leather wrap on the body, which I've weathered a little bit. It's just different things. Like I like to use, you know, I like to use shoe polish a lot of times to get in there, and then after some time, it has like a very your sweat and all that stuff will eventually get it. The oils from your hands will give it a natural weathering over time, and then that shoe polish will pick up the grime and all that other stuff. It's really cool. You can use, there's leather polishes, all different types of stuff, but really I have shoe polish for other props that I weather with, and I tried it out and I was like, you know what, this works just fine. This is the exact same leather wrap lambskin sheet that I have, that I've did my scrap tech with. I've demoed a lot of sound fonts with it in my videos, and that leather turned out really good. It was the first time I ever used that shoe polish to weather one of these leather wraps. So it worked out pretty good, and I've used it for mine personally. I like it. I like the way it feels over time, especially this lambskin. It gets very, very cushioned, very, very comfortable, very, very comfortable grip. What we're gonna do is I am going to start, we're going to do this pommel. Well, first of all, before we do that, we'll go ahead and show you guys what you need, supplies wise, at least as far as what I like to use. Isn't that beautiful? Ain't she a beaut? First and foremost, you're going to need aluminum black. This is what I use. This is what a lot of people use. This is a very, very nice solution to your weathering by Birchwood Casey. You can get it on Amazon. I usually get these for like $8 or so, and you get a pack of, what is this, 3 ounces. That's it. What? Yeah, regardless, I can do a kit and a half maybe with one of these chemical aging things. And what this does is when it reacts to a raw aluminum, it's going to age it. It's going to make it look nasty. We're going to find out about that here in a second. Then you're going to need some gloves. Unless you want your hands to get crazy, you're going to want some gloves. Just any kind of glove will do. Any kind of glove will do. Whatever you're totally cool with getting nasty. Then what I always bring out is paper plates, man, because why not? What I do is I have one plate. I will do all the weathering on. I'll pour the aluminum black over the piece, let it sit on here. If you're doing a whole hilt, you can do you can get this in a bigger bottle, in a more concentrated. It's Birchwood KC, I think Sculpt Nouveau website. You can get A14. A14 is a complete non-diluted version of this in bigger bottles. Now it's going to cost you a lot more, but the more you have, you can pour into a big tray and you can essentially dip the whole saber in and soak it that way. I don't like doing that. One, because it costs a lot of money, and also because you're dipping your whole hilt in there, and I don't like to get my threads. I don't like to clean them up from the aluminum black, so I like to tape those off, which is my next thing. Tape. I use painter's tape. Works enough for me. You got those. Last but not least, Scott Bright pad. Now, you can get a bunch of different versions of this. This is the one that I always get. It's just, you know, whatever one is there, I like to snag it. This is really good at taking off the aluminum black that we're going to build up. So that, and you can use some hilts. You're going to have to. You can use sandpaper. Now, with your sandpaper, you want to go with a high grit sandpapers, because some sabers, like this dude, see that shiny protective layer that's over it? If you were to take aluminum black, and this happens to a lot of people, and you just pour aluminum black all over this silver part, see how it has a protective shine to it? It's like a protective coat over that aluminum piece. This isn't a raw aluminum. This has got a protective shine. You have to break that layer down. That first layer has to go in order for the aluminum black to work, at least from what I've found. If you pour your aluminum black on there, you wait, and it just slides off and nothing happens, and you're just wasting aluminum black, that's something that happens. So you just take some sandpaper or some Scott Bright and break it down. Break it down, put some elbow grease in there. Then you can weather it up, and just different applications. All right, so I've already kind of hit this to take the shine down. When I first got it, it was too shiny for me. It was way too shiny for me, so I broke it down some. But let's just go ahead and prep the pommel. On camera today, I'm going to really only do the pommel. Show you how to weather this guy. Also, one more thing, completely forgot. Acrylics. Now, acrylics, you can use a ton of different types of acrylics. I like to use acrylics for an acrylic wash. So burnt sienna is really, really good. I usually just use burnt sienna and black, different blacks, browns, different things for different rust colors. I would have to say burnt sienna is going to be one of your best for that rust look. Mix that with the brown, mix that with the black, and it's going to turn out really good. I promise you. I'm going to take this piece here. I'm actually going to try to break it down a little bit more. I'm going to take my pad and I'm going to scuff it up. Different areas. I want that shine to be gone. I don't like clean lightsabers. Because this is going to happen anyways. You're going to be hitting this thing with you're going to be hitting this with this Scott pad to break off the aluminum black anyways. So people who want really soft, like medium, or really light weathering to me is actually harder. I mean, you can take off all the weathering, but at the end of the weathering process, I have taken off. I have hit every inch of it, so you're gonna have scratches. People who don't want any scratches but want weathering, good luck, bro. Don't call me. I gotta beat this thing up. So we're gonna do that. Good bit all around different areas, and we're gonna do this more than once probably to get a good soak. Now, where the tape comes in, painter's tape. Gonna take it. Again, this is just something that I like to do. Everyone's got a different method for their weathering. There's more than one way to skin a cat. That is for sure. And again, this is just something I do to keep that aluminum black off the threads if I can. If I can help it, it just saves me in the cleanup process. This is also something that I will be greasing the threads afterwards to make sure that it's not a nasty sound whenever you threading this guy back on. Push that down. You're not gonna see this anyways once this is on the weathering down here, and you can get that with the weathering down in the crevices. You can get that with the acrylic wash that we're gonna do. So this is fun, right? This is a good time. You guys having fun watching me do this? It's been requested a lot. All right, now it's time to glove up. Get you guys to bend over and cough. How long has it been since you've had a checkup, sir? Go easy on me, it's my first time. Alright, so we're going to take our piece. And now here is where the magic happens. If you guys want to do this in a ventilated room, the stuff does smell, it's toxic, you don't want to breathe it directly in. I like to party. I'm a rock star. I was a smoker for 10 years, so it's too late for me. Alright, here we go. Now, here's where some people are like, nah, I don't like that at all. This is, again, how I do it, guys. I'm going to pour it all over. And we don't get crazy. Yeah, pour it on that pommel. There we go. Alright, wow, this thing is, see? It's already building up. See how it's black? That's because I took off that layer. Heck yeah, this is a good one. This is a good example. Oh, this is a good example. Oh yeah, this is a good example. Now, you can take it and rub it in. I like to rub it in. That's what she said. And this one is quick. Now, the longer you leave it, the more nasty it's gonna get. Pommel's already almost black. Now you can see this thing blacked up. What it's doing is it's eating a layer off of that aluminum. The chemical hits it and it rusts it and eats it. So you don't want to leave it too long. That actually turned out great. I like to make sure that I get it all in one go. Let it sit for a second. Now, I didn't state it in the beginning, but you want some paper towels. I use one wet paper towel with that other plate. The other plate that I have set up is going to be where we clean it and where we break it down. So, once this is sat for a minute, you'll see it'll start to steam, and it'll start to smell pretty nasty too. It's gonna smell gross. It don't smell good. So we got that. Now, I'm gonna transfer it over to the paper plate that I had set up with a wet towel, damp towel. And what happens is, see all that stuff coming off? Now what happens is, you get the water will hit it and it will deactivate the process or null the process, stop the weathering. It will stop the chemical from reacting to the aluminum. So we're just gonna get it all over. Oh, Oh, this pommel's gonna look good, I bet. This pommel's gonna look really good. That weathered up very quickly. Sometimes it won't do that. Sometimes it will take a minute. Sometimes it will take a minute to go through and actually weather, right? It will take you a second to get that nasty grime that you want. But, alright, so now that we have taken that down, I feel confident there's enough wipe off. I don't see it sizzling anymore. It doesn't feel warm. Sometimes it will warm up, but it does look nasty, and that's what I like. So now what I'm going to do, let that sit there for a second. I've got more paper towels. Take one dry paper towel, and I'm just going to damp it off. Man, we may not even have to hit this with burnt sienna. That's cool. Just want to get it to where it's not extremely wet anymore. So you're gonna just damp it. Keep going. It's already looking cool. Already looks cool. Gosh, these pommels look so great when you weather them. There's just so much depth and detail to them. So, that feels pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is take my Scott Brite pad, right, from the beginning that we used to break down the shine, and we're going to go at it again. We're going to break down the weathering to how we want it. Now, the more that you do this process, the darker the pommel or the aluminum piece is going to be. So you want to time everything out. You don't want to let it sit. Make sure you're watching the process as it happens. You don't want to leave it go, cook some food and come back 15 minutes later and this thing's burnt crisp. You want to make sure that you do it slowly at a time. And you can always add more, but it's going to darken each time you do it. So this thing will never be as shiny unless you extremely polish it back up or just break a layer down. But that's not what we want anyways. We want it to be nasty. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to hit all these high spots where the hilt would hit something. All these top corners and spots, break them down. And there are plenty of videos. Solo's Hilt has a video on this. He'll heat it. A lot of people will use like a butane torch and heat it and then do the process. And that looks really cool. But most of the time it's not that necessary for what I want. So honestly, I like the aluminum black effect. And this is way darker. Way darker. Looks really cool. But yeah, like say if there's a side, where there's just a bunch of edges, like this way, you can go up and down that way, but me personally, I go that way first, just to see all of them start to shine up. Like this dot right here is going to shine up, these corners are going to shine up, all the high spots, all of them are going to shine up. This area here. Now, if you want to, you can get in here as well. You're really just kind of you're adding and taking away until you like what you see. Me, I'm gonna go with just enough. So this thing darkened up beautifully. Very happy with it already. I'm going to leave that inside kind of nasty. I like the way that looks. I always like the inside crevices. I like them to be rusted, dirty, nasty, you name it. I don't want them to be clean. Grime and grit is going to build up in these areas over time if you were to actually look at a prop, especially in a galaxy far, far away. This is going to be gross. So, you can continue to hit. See some of it coming off, there's some dust. This pommel really took to the darkening, so this is what I mean by you really gotta watch it. This darkened fast. I wasn't expecting that, but I like it. And you can see the contrast between the dark and the shiny, and that's where you get the dimensions. That's where you get a lot of your detail. See it? How it's kind of burnt in some areas, rusted and nasty. That's what you want. You want it to look gross. You want it to look used. So it was shiny. It was crystal. It was very clear. And now this thing is awesome. And then again, now that I've gotten my desired look, I'm going to take that damp towel and I'm going to give it another go. This is going to get rid of all that dust that we kicked up when we were sanding it off. There's really not a lot to this process. I've had people ask me to do it. I think it's pretty straightforward. A lot of people already know about aluminum black and are probably like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch another aluminum black weathering video, but it's been asked a lot, and I figured, what the heck, I gotta do it anyways, because I think I'm gonna be installing this guy soon. This is my personal saber, and it's about time I get to play with something with mine. So, stamped. I'm gonna take it, damp it off. Get rid of all that water, all that dust, all that nastiness. Alright, cool. There we go, guys. There it is. It is much, much better looking, in my opinion. It now has detail, it has depth, it has story, it has more character now. Looks good. It's darker. Much, much better. And there she is. Better looking pommel now. See the difference in shine? See how weathered it is now? This is the kind of shine it had. So now what I'm going to do for myself is I'm going to weather the rest of this guy. And that's going to be fun for me. One more thing before I go, I will show you how to use that acrylic wash to get more dirt, rust look in there, in the crevices. In my opinion, this pommel doesn't need it from the weathering we just did, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do that. Alright guys, I'm going to show you real quick before we go. Again, this is just for you guys. Burnt sienna acrylic wash that I was talking about, which is just a little detail you can add in after you've done your weathering. This is something I thoroughly enjoy. I do it a lot with like chassis and different things. This is something that's a very subtle effect, very good on a lot of different props, but your burnt sienna is going to give you a rust type look. You can do this process that I'm about to show you, this acrylic wash with black as well, and that will get down in the crevices and darken it. It's another really, really cool effect. You use the two of them together and it's even better. So I'm just going to show you on the acrylic wash with a burnt sienna, but you can apply the exact same method with black. We got our pommel weathered and it looks great. We want to add more to it, even though I don't think we need to. I think it's pretty good as is right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in more for you here. It's going to be kind of hard to pick up. See, I've already kind of got it too anyways from that chemical. That's actual real rust. So if I clear coat that, I'll have a good bit of that real rust look. But we're going to do a fake rust look with burnt sienna wash. In this corner down here, I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but there is water, a little bit of water in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your acrylic, any type of acrylic from, you know, Walmart or any craft store really that has acrylic paints. So put just a little bit in. You don't want a lot, because this is just a wash. This isn't, you're not caking anything on other than liquid paint. So There's a little bit in there, and you can see how it's kind of already darkening the water. Sorry. Darkening the water, right? You want to kind of brush it around until this water is watered down paint. That's all we're trying to go for right now. Mixing it up, this looks like a pretty good application of it. We're going to take our pommel and we're going to give it a wash in certain areas that we want it to be in. For me, it's going to be, oh, and you want to kind of maybe dab it down. See how I'm dabbing it on the plate? Making sure we're not getting a lot, making sure it's runny and not caking on. If it is, wipe it off real quick, you're fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add it in. I think it would be around these areas. Now you see how subtle it is, and it's a water. It's watery now. So it's going to run. It's going to run down. It's going to run the water to it. Water to it. It's going to run in there. It's going to get down in that crevice. Right around that dude. And it's going to sit in there for a second. It's really hard to see because it's an extreme close-up detail. But it's going to sit in there. See how it's already starting to rust up around it? Look. And then I'm going to take a dry paper towel. And you're literally just going to dab it. Just enough to where it's not runny anymore. Just enough to where you can start to see, yeah, it's sticking in there. You want it just a little bit. Now, you can get crazy, especially with the black. When you do a black acrylic wash, you can just slap it all over this thing. So if this was black, I could take it, just wipe all over one go. Just wipe all over my piece. Let it sink in and dab off the big black spots, and you will see it start to sink in there. But this is a small detail. This is a small rust detail. So really, I'm only going to do it in certain areas. Down in here. You can put a good bit. Here's what happens when you put a good bit in. It starts to get gnarly, right? It's way too much, in my opinion. You can go for this look if you want to, but this is not what I'm going for. I'm going to dab it off, wipe it off, get rid of it. But you can see the water makes it run into these crevices and stay in there. Giving it a natural overtime look, giving it a very natural overtime look to it. It's been rusting for a while. See it? You can see how it has gone in those crevices. And here's one without it. There's one with it. There's one with it. It's very subtle, but in person, this is going to be something that really jumps out at you. So this is one technique that I like to do. The devil's in the details. It looks really good in person, and it's something that gives it more dimensions and way more character. And since this is an acrylic wash, it's going to take about a day to really settle in. And once it does, it'll be good. But if you don't like it, you can take it off, especially right now. Like in some areas, see how it dripped up in here? I don't want it up there, and I don't want it right there. Now it's just in this area, and I want this area cleaned of that. So now it's only where that circle is at, in there, where moisture would definitely collect and get nasty. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit these real quick. So I got it took a bit. And again, you can do it on other areas like the tops, but to me that's not as realistic. You want it in crevices. This is a wash that goes in cracks and crevices. Natural grime. Now where I do natural grime in it, and where I do like to do is get it in this pommel area. To me, that's just somewhere nasty. Just around the ring area. Ooh, let's go ahead. Yeah, inside there. Inside that pommel cap is where I want it to really kind of rust up. So if you look in, it will look nasty when you look at it in person, which is really fun for me. And then another thing I want to do, and I just thought about this, I want it in here. I want it in these. I want it in between these cubes. Looks like some Bob Ross stuff, just some happy little rust right here. We're just gonna add a little happy bit of rust to our pommel. It's been in a happy little galaxy far, far away. It's had kind of a long, hard life. Let's give it a nice little facelift. And there we go, man. I'm already pretty happy with this. And then you're just gonna let it dry, man. You can clear coat it. I would suggest clear coating. Otherwise, you're gonna have definitely a nasty grime feel in this. What can wear down over time. Now, I do like the natural wear. I'm probably gonna hit these corners up a little bit more to give it a shine. Just these high spots on these corners. That way when the light hits it, it shines. See how you can see the outlines of the edges when the light hits them? And that's because we broke some of that down. So that's going to give it a lot of detail for weathering detail, for a lot of look for weathering detail. So again, high spots. High spots are important. Anywhere this thing would hit, rub, take it down. Alright, so that'll do it, you guys. I hope that was something that was helpful to you. I hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial. I will do more. The reason I haven't really done a lot of these is because there are plenty out there. Lots of people who've been doing this a lot longer than I have great tutorials for different things. But there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and weather the rest of this beast. So there we go. We weathered the lightsaber. It looks way better. I gotta clean up the grip. We got dirty. We weathered that pommel. I'm gonna finish off camera and weather the rest. I mean, just look at this dude. It looks so much better. Again, you can see the difference. Look at the difference. This and this was pretty much what the pommel looked like beforehand. Now we've got dimensions. Look at that shine. See when it hits? Camera's not really doing it that much justice, again, because it's dark. It's darker now. But you will see it still shines, but it's darker, it's weathered, and it looks just gnarly. Look at that. Man, I love it. So I'm going to be doing that to the rest of this. Again, off camera, I'll be doing that because I like to work to music. I like to rock out while I'm building. I like to jam. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. I will be doing tutorials for small things like that, things that don't take a long time. I have a lot of people request for a full install video, and that's just, I take hours upon hours to install. I never pump out a lightsaber install in an hour. It usually takes me a better half of a day, and that's because I take my time. You know, some things happen, but I could do other videos, maybe wiring a recharge port or something like that. I would be okay with doing. I just wanted to do something real quick because I had to do it anyways, and I know people have asked me in the past if I could do a video on that. Yeah, I think that turned out pretty good. That was a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Getting close to 1,000 subscribers now, and that's just exciting to me. It is cool to see it reach almost 1,000. That's something that this is a proud milestone. So if you aren't already subscribed, please subscribe. Share, comment, interact. That's what keeps things fun for me in this hobby right now. So if you're watching this, I'm only gonna have the video up for a little while. I did the video just, yesterday maybe, a Q&A. I'm gonna do my first question and answering. Go to that video, drop a question in the comments, and I will answer it in the answering video. If you guys want to be part of that, go over there, check that out. But thanks again, guys, and until the next time, may the force be with you.
Who's scruffy looking?